So, let's find out what the MCU fans are pissed about this week. I bet it's Wongers. Hello, and welcome to the Review of Champions. It's time to talk about She-Hulk Attorney at Law, Episode 4, Is This Not Real Magic? With me are, voice only, Loki's mom.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
Doing really good. Lady Death Lady's joined me, and she has her party outfit on. She's ready to go with the ladies with Donnie Blaze.
I hope the twerking stays limited. Coming in from Australia, hot, ready, and looking forward to Sunday. Biz, how are you doing, man?
Yeah, not too bad. Pretty good.
Taylor, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing awesome. Are you kidding me? It's D23. It's like a national holiday. Still.
And I hope that's not because the Queen passed away. But anyway, last but certainly not least, Merv, how are you, man?
What's happening?
Before we get started, I would like to ask you all to hit that like and subscribe button and maybe join our forum on sukkar.freeforums.net. It's a nice little community full of nice fans. You can see him here or hear him here. And we would love it if you sign up and join the conversation. And if you want, you can be on the show as well. We're going to talk spoilers, so if you haven't seen the episode, go check it out first and then come back to the video. You know, I start with questions to my panel members, and I'm going to start with Taylor. And I'm going to start with you with a very important question in life. What came first, the demon or the egg?
I think Donnie Blaze came first because the guy's an idiot. He's messing with magic, and he laid a demon instead of a chicken egg.
Yeah. So, what do you think of this week's episode of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I liked it. There were a lot of parts of it that I liked. I liked the demon battle. I thought was a pretty fun scene. You know, Wong was there. The end part. You know, leading. You know, giving us the tag for the next episode or the next case that she's gonna have to deal with. That was good. Because I was starting to wonder what, you know, if we were ever going to see Titania again. The humor, some of it was good. I laughed a little bit. I probably thought this was probably the funniest episode so far. I'm not, you know, some of the writing seems just a little bit off, a little bit weak to me. And, you know, I'm afraid they're using the excuse of it's a comedy, so we don't have to put too much thought into it, and I don't agree with that. You can write comedy without, you know, changing characters. Like Wong, you know, isn't acting like Wong sometimes, you know. But I'm sure we can talk more about that.
Yeah, I understand that. But I'm going to round the panel a little bit further before we get going. Biz, I have a question for you. In what world is Tatiana Maslany a 6? Or disappointment to walk into in the morning? And what did you like or didn't like about this week's episode?
Yeah, I have to disagree with that too. She's definitely not a 6. She's probably like, if we really have to rate women.
No, you don't. No, you don't. But I thought that was actually a strange thing to rate a quite beautiful woman a 6 on a show. But anyway, at least that's my opinion.
Anyway, moving on with the actual episode. Yeah, I wasn't too big a fan of this episode. I have to agree with Taylor there. The writing was, it wasn't that great. Like I said, I thought it was a bit cringy, but like again with humor, it's always subjective. So what I like, other people may necessarily like enjoy the hell out of. So. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'll save my comments for the more detailed approach later. But yeah, not the strongest episode for me.
I get it. Lokismom.
Go ahead.
Spoilers for The Sopranos.
By the way, I'm going to give Biz a 9.
Ooh. I'm not going to cut this part out.
He's the top one, so you'll have to figure out the rest what y'all are. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No contest. Anyway, Lokismom. Again, spoilers for The Sopranos. Not cool. Or was it a complaint from Marvel Studios that people are spoiling too much online?
So they're complaining that line she said Ariana had died or something like that.
Yeah, and Marvel Studios is doing this.
The Sopranos has been out for what, 20 years, 25, 30 years. I mean,
I have hashtag never seen it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, not everybody's seen it, so I don't think that was. There again, I think it's just a bunch of little bitches that are. I'm going into my drunk lady mood tonight, so. You may have regretted that I came on, but yeah, I think that's just stupid and ridiculous, and I really don't have any comment to say about that. Anybody that's petty is that petty. Why bother with them?
Yeah, but I do think that
Sopranos
people...
was a great TV show, by the way. It's probably one of the best. It's right up there, Breaking Bad.
Yeah. However, people do spoil a lot online. If you go online and you haven't seen the latest episode of whatever show is dropping on Prime, HBO, or Disney Plus, or whatever, you can already read the whole plot line, but within half an hour.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So
it's old. I mean, anything that's out, I'd say current, that's but within the couple years, yeah, be kind and don't spoil. But at a certain point, we're all adults,
Yeah, it's on me that I never watched The Sopranos.
Huckleberry fan, you should know what happens at the end of Sopranos. So.
Yeah, but anyway, what did you think about this week's episode?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Biz and Taylor. I think the writing had really, just as Taylor says, they're leaning too much on the comedy, and it's really silly. I think we've got just a little too much of these tall with the hair, and they're all, and I don't know, wongers, and you're so, and that, and that a little bit of that's okay, but a whole episode. Plus, we have Titania, who's kind of that way, and then we got what's her name, she the stallion, or whatever she is. I'm just okay. That's that's of a different generation. I understand it. It's not. I don't understand those women, but 4 of them, okay. Yeah. Otherwise, I think it was the whole Donnie Blaze. I thought that was pretty funny. I liked his character. I hope that I'm gonna see what they do with him. And then that old guy with the top hat and the bow and the ribbon ties. I'm wanting to find out who these guys are and what they're up to. I think they've been into the other dimensions already. And I want to know why in the world Wong didn't take that damn sling ring back from him.
Yeah, that would have solved a lot. But,
yeah.
Let's just hope you did not discover a plot hole the size of a black hole. But anyway, Merv, last but not least, I'm going to keep it simple with you. You have some comic book knowledge. Is Donnie related to Johnny?
I hope he is. I don't know if that was just a gag for them, just to, because I didn't pay attention to the hype coming in, but I guess that actor was rumored to be Johnny Blaze, and now they're like, no, he's Donnie Blaze, his identical twin brother who's a horrible magician. It's just funny to me, like, from that perspective. But whenever I heard the name Donnie Blaze, that was who I immediately thought of. Like, did they do that on purpose? And it's
I thought they said Johnny Blaze. So I went with, and then toward the end it was Donnie. Okay.
Yeah, his name was Donnie Blaze, and then I think Cornelius was his hype man, and I love them both, and their lawyer. I thought that was great.
Yeah, that was great. Any other thoughts on this week's episode?
I just think structurally, this was definitely my favorite. I thought they did a good job of balancing, like, the lawyer type scenes with Jen's personal life and throwing some She-Hulk action in there. I thought this was definitely a step up from last week as far as the humor goes, for me, at least personally. I know it's all subjective, but I loved Madison. I thought she was hilarious. That's a character that could easily have like annoyed me, as I'm sure it annoyed, you know, half the audience, but for whatever reason, it landed perfectly for me. So whenever she comes through the portal in the courtroom, it's like, Walkers, like, I loved it. I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
And combine that with the magician, you know, just their whole like group, that whole, you know, the hype man especially was like the icing on the cake for me. The Cornelius, the old guy, who just kept hyping up Donnie, you know, every time, and just hiding the fact that he was just you know, the things hanging out of his shirt and he's just not that good, you know. And then you'd see them like place the bunny before he, you know, removes the thing. It just like that, like real cheap magic was hilarious to me.
Mm-hmm.
The dating stuff, I didn't really get much from. I again, the fact that anyone would believe that Tatiana Maslany was a 6 or unattractive or whatever just is just too big of a, you know, in a show about superheroes. That's the one I don't believe the most. And she would definitely have way more than 0, you know, matches. The way she approached the online matching is the way men do it. You know what I mean? Not the other way around. Like women have no problem online matching. If they, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, women, but I feel like every woman out there probably has no problem matching, because I know tons of guys who just swipe right constantly on those things all the time. So that felt a little like you're approaching this the wrong way. You know, like if this was a guy doing it, it would make sense. But so that didn't really land too much. But overall, I thought, you know, it was just a really fun episode. And I think I've mentally come to the point where I'm okay with this show being aloof and really wacky and, like, you know, taking existing characters and kind of allowing them to be not themselves for the sake of this show. As long as, like, you know, big groundbreaking events don't happen in this show that are like changing the face of the MCU. If this is just a sidebar to like more important storylines in the overall Marvel Comics MCU, I'm fine with it. But it you know, if they have like a groundbreaking event in this show, then I'll be like, okay, well, you can't really treat it as a joke and treat it seriously at the same time. It doesn't work that way.
Right, correct.
Yeah, I totally agree. Personally, I thought the episode was hilarious. I too love Madison. I totally ship Wong and Madison. I want them to stay a duo for until the end of the multiverse saga. I mean, I just cannot wait for Avengers Secret Wars, that in the last moment, the last absolute moment of the final climax battle, and then Wong is finally destroying Kang with all his Avengers and Thunderbolts and whatever he gathered, and then all of a sudden around the corner, Madison shows up and says, "Wongers!" Yeah, I mean, it would be the dance off from Guardians of the Galaxy 2.0. But yeah, anyway, let's not put ideas in people's heads. Biz, the writing is off. There's a lot to be said that this show is maybe too wacky, or certain parts are, yeah, not really interesting. I mean, I didn't care about the dating stuff either. Overall, is this a good show?
Yeah, I definitely liked it. It's just that, yeah, this episode was just the weakest for me. I mean, in terms of the writing, I'll expand a little bit more on that. What I actually, what really thought about it. It's more like, I don't know. I could see like, I'm out of curiosity. Is the showrunner female by any chance?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. So, not to knock that, but the thing is, it seems like, in terms of the writing, like what sorority girls would find funny. That's what I thought this episode was. Or like, you're at a bar one night and it's like, you know what would be funny? And then there was like just at the end of the night, and then they wrote this episode. That's what I thought it was pretty much. It really didn't work for me. I mean, I can see why it's funny, but it was too heavy. Like I thought maybe it'd be like a one-off thing, but they kind of carried it through the whole episode. But yeah, each to their own. It's all subjective after all. But as a show overall, yeah, it's a decent show. I mean, it's always great to see, like, I know there have been some complaints that there's not enough diversity and lacking, like, I guess, female characters or whatever. And She-Hulk is a good show overall. I've liked the past episodes. Like, there's like one like minor criticism, but I like where the show's going. Like, we saw more of the Abomination. I thought that was fresh with like the previous episodes where she had to represent him. So yeah, there's a lot to like too.
Okay. Yeah, that's my feeling as well. It's not a really bad show. It's just, yeah, it's not like, for me personally, Miss Marvel or Moon Knight or Hawkeye or the biggest example, maybe even WandaVision, where you get like exciting every week, and every week you like, where's this going? Here it's just meanders on, and yeah, I'm watching it. I'm quite relaxed. I'm laughing. I'm not laughing, but yeah, there's nothing special in it. Taylor, what are your thoughts on the show as a whole? Now we're halfway.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of the stuff Biz said. You know, the MCU is a franchise. It's a serious franchise. This isn't the first comedy that it's done. You know, the Guardians of the Galaxy are pretty much a comedy franchise, and other parts of the franchise have a lot of comedy. You know, but they also have a lot of serious. But you can do a pure comedy within this franchise. You know, but you still have to be within the rules of the universe. You know, and lots of shows, you know, have done that. You know, serious shows. On another podcast, someone brought up the example of Star Trek, the original series, which was generally a serious show, but they did, you know, The Trouble with Tribbles, which was fine. They didn't change Captain Kirk into a bumbling buffoon for the episode. He was still Captain Kirk. He was just put into a humorous situation, and it was those characters reacting as they would in a situation, and it was funny. Whereas Wong, you know, he's the Sorcerer Supreme. His mission in life is to protect the world from magic. Why does he need a lawyer to do that? He would just go and slap Donnie around and take his ring back.
Exactly.
Maybe put him in another universe or something. All right, so that, you know, that just felt kind of forced to me. You know, like he's trying to set a legal precedent. You know, again, he's the Sorcerer Supreme. Does he really need a legal precedent in the LA District Court? You know, when he goes to other, you know, he goes all over the world and stops people from misusing magic. That's kind of his thing. But okay, again, it was funny. Donnie was funny. You know, the hype man was funny. The horrible magic that he was doing. The drunk girl. Now here's the thing about the drunk girl. They were in a courtroom, in a trial, and they opened up the portal, and she's at a party drunk. So what, 2 p.m. or something? She's somewhere in LA partying and drunk off her mind already.
Well, she wouldn't be accepted as a witness in that state. So yeah, the judge would throw her out.
I'm like, glad at least the judge said you can't have that drink here. She gave it to the bailiff. But again, it's funny, and if that's what they're going for, it's funny. But and I hope what they're building up to now. I'm gonna, you know, go to the comics here for a second. The original She-Hulk was the Savage She-Hulk. This is not the Savage She-Hulk. Okay, I'm okay with that, even though I like Savage She-Hulk. But what these comics are what this show is mostly based on is the Sensational She-Hulk comics. But in the Sensational She-Hulk comics, Jen is kind of, you know, reserved and you know, shy. But when she becomes She-Hulk, it brings her out of her shell, and she embraces it. You know, she embraces the power and the fame and the celebrity and the sexiness. All right, and she uses it. She uses it to you know, for her law job and for her personal life. So I hope we're building up to that, because right now, She-Hulk and Jen are pretty much acting exactly the same. She-Hulk is just taller and green. So I'm hoping as they build up to that, she comes out of her shell more and embraces her persona as She-Hulk and takes advantage of it. So I'm hoping to see that. The whole dating thing, yeah, I agree with Biz on that. It felt like, you know, Sex in the City or something. And I thought it was kind of again, we're back to the writing. The part where, you know, she takes the guy home, seems like a great guy. She likes him, he likes her. And then in the morning, she's Jen, and he just leaves. I thought, they could have actually built an actual story there, I mean, okay, he's got a thing for She-Hulk. Well, everyone in this universe knows how Hulks work, right? They change back and forth, You want to go on a date with She-Hulk, she'll turn into She-Hulk. It's not like Hulk's gone forever. So either she could have said, she could have called him out. Wait a minute, you're leaving because I'm not, and they could have had an actual discussion and had some, insight there. Or, he could have explained, we could have found out that he's, just a kink for superheroes or something. But they said nothing. Bye, I'm leaving. That was kind of strange, especially after she had, taken out a bunch of demons and everything, and still came back to him and, did the nasty. All, after a hard day's work of shooting, slingshotting demons through portals, which I love that part where she slingshots the demon. So yeah, like I said, the show, I like it. I love She-Hulk. Like I said, you probably already figured out. I love She-Hulk as a character, and I want it to become more like the one we're used to. And I know the MCU and every other franchise changes stuff from the comics all the time. Like Guardians of the Galaxy is very different in the movies than they were in the comics, but they were a much lesser known franchise than She-Hulk. She-Hulk is kind of more well known. If nothing else, everyone has seen, the wild, sexy covers of She-Hulk comics, and that kind of sets the tone for the character. So I hope we're building up, to something like that. And as far as I want the comedy. I just want them not to, have forced to change the characters or forced to change anything in the universe for a joke. I think you can, with good writing, you can make good comedy within the rules of the universe and within the established canon.
Yeah. I do think that they will let She-Hulk be the persona for Jen to go out of her shell. I think we saw some shots in trailers which hint at that, where she shows up in a dress and embraces her nice-looking bum, to put it nicely. Yeah. Loki's mom, what do you think about this whole show so far?
Well, for the particular episode, I think kind of all agreed that it's kind of came down a little bit. It dropped a level from what it started out as. Hopefully it'll pick back up. This may just be the episode that kind of prolonged, overdid the whole dating conundrum for her. And it's a scene we like you said, we've seen it in sitcoms and movies before. The trying to find somebody, and she's trying to do it online. And when I was young, her age in 20s, we didn't have that advantage. We had to go to the singles bar and do it that way, or knew somebody, your mother or somebody set you up on that. That's how it was done. So lot easier today, I guess. But anyway, when she said one thing though, where she's with the final guy, and he says, "Well, I'm a pediatric oncologist," and it's like, oh, she just perked right up there.
Yeah, but
you're a doctor.
I have a question for you. I really felt like that guy, the child's oncologist, actually was doing how you say, a little play, a line that he uses more, that's the way he picks up women.
Well, there's a movie, probably none of you guys have ever seen. It's a Woody Allen movie called Front Page, where he plays a TV writer set back in the 50s, and he goes to I think it's Grossinger's one, and there are like all these women around, and he's trying to pick up a woman, and he's saying, well, when they're chit-chatting, what do you do? Well, I'm a TV writer. Oh, okay. What do you do? I'm a TV. And so finally he says, the last woman he comes to says, well, what do you do? He says, I'm a dentist. And she goes, oh, and she's just right over, Big income, yes.
Yeah, and I'm a listener. I have talked enough about myself. I want to hear about you. I mean, it's so obvious that it's a pickup, a trick, a routine.
But they never confirmed it for us. For us,
what I was
something should have come out.
about the whole. Yeah, I think the series itself, I do. I mean, I like it. I agree with a lot of what you guys are saying as far as how they're doing the characters and setting this totally in a comedy realm, in a comedy vein. But you know, I talked about, you know, you can do tongue in cheek, but once you start going into parody, you start getting into trouble. And I think this is where it headed pretty much into this episode. And the next step after parody is jumping the shark. And I think it came real close to jumping the shark here.
Yeah. Merv, last to make a judgment halfway through the show. Is it okay? Is it good? Is it not so good?
I mean, it's definitely good as far as I'm concerned. It's had too many different vibes, I guess, in 4 episodes. Not vibes so much, but there's been something different about each one. Like episode 3, I didn't get the Megan Thee Stallion reference, and they leaned on that heavy, so I was checked out of it. This one, for whatever reason, landed for me personally, so I was in. You know, episode 2 felt super short. You know, episode 1 was a great start, you know, but then like they get rid of the Hulk pretty much, so you know he's out of the picture, and then you know it kind of shifts to like her as the primary focus alone in trying to balance all of her things in her life. So it kind of all depends on what we get for the next 4 episodes. Like if the structure of episode 4, even if the comedy is different or, you know, better, hopefully, and all the writing's better, if everything's better, you know, naturally it's going to be great. But at least if the structure is the same with like the balance between lawyer life, personal life, and She-Hulk life, like as long as one of those cogs of the wheel doesn't feel completely shut down or separated or whatever, like I'm okay with it. You know, if we get all, you know, dating or even an episode of all She-Hulk and no character growth, like that might, you know, just feel like a bad episode in general. But overall, it's good. And again, it's not like I'm not, you know, I'm not super like, oh my god, in the new She-Hulk episode, I'm not like that eager to get to it. But it's a very like fun, casual show to watch. Like I sit down and if I laugh a few times, I'm happy. You know, it's very much that vibe for me.
Okay. Yeah. I hear what you guys say. You know what? Let's rate this week's episode. Oh, Merv.
I just one more thing. They set the precedent of a midday rave with the Ant-Man movie. So maybe she was at that same apartment complex where Ant-Man falls through the floorboards and there's like a party at 10 in the morning, you know? So maybe LA is just different. I've never been out that way. So.
Okay, but the midday rave was in San Francisco, if we're going to get technical, but anyway. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, just down the I-10.
Yeah.
Or what is it? No. What's the
coast highway?
Yeah, Pacific Coast Highway.
Okay. Yeah, I just take the A15 every morning, but that's a different story. You know what? Let's just rate this week's episode. Yeah, I will start with you, Biz. I want to hear from you.
I'm gonna rate it a 6. Like it wasn't like really terrible, but it just didn't do it for me. So yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That's I mean, we're not fanboys, so we can criticize and give our honest opinion here. Lokismom.
Yeah, I'll give it a 6 too. I would have given a little higher rating, but and it's called a tag now. Not we always follow the end credit scene. They're called tags.
In television, they're called tags. That is correct.
So the tag was so abysmal, so horrible. It insulted Wong. It insulted the MCU. I would have given this an episode of 7, but that will put it down to a 6.
No yak milk for you then. Okay, Taylor.
Well, I agree with Loki's mom that there is a statute of limitations on spoilers, so I don't care about if they spoiled The Sopranos from 20 years ago. That's no big deal. And the tag with Wong and Drunk Madison just talking about cocktails on his couch while he's watching, it was purely for humor, so I was okay with that. Again, I like the flying demons from Heck in the magic show scene. So overall, I think they need to tighten up the writing and the editing a bit, just to make it sharper, make it punchier. But for this episode, I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay, Merv.
I'll actually give it 9 otherworldly demons out of 10, just because I'd be surprised if I enjoyed another episode as much as I just had fun enjoying this one. Like I said, I think I've come to the point where I've mentally just like accepted that Wong in this isn't acting exactly like Wong in Doctor Strange or whatever else. But I think that's just, I'm used, like I mentioned it somewhere else, but I'm used to reading Deadpool comics, and that's the way characters are largely treated in Deadpool, is like they show up in Deadpool and they almost become a joke of themselves, but it's because they're in Deadpool as opposed to in whatever else, you know what I mean? So I liked it a lot. I give it a 9.
Okay. Personally, I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10. For me, this is a little, like I say, the show balances on the 7 for me the whole way through so far. I think I gave episode 2 an 8, and I stand by that still. But overall, it's not bad in any way, but it's also not amazing. So I think a 7 is fair. This will conclude our review for episode 4 of She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. Is This Not Real Magic? Before we finish, I would like to ask you all to hit that subscribe button, notification bell on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, like our Facebook page. Join the forum on Sakar. That way you will never miss us and we won't have to miss you. Bye.